Hey guys, it's Chris with Life of Gaming. Listen, James is off this week, and so I'm handling hosting duties. And what we did this time is we recorded with Google Hangouts, and we've done that in the past, but this time we had a slight error. It's just the camera doesn't change, so the whole entire show is my face, big and giant on the screen, and Joe, our guest, and Josh are still on the screen, but very small. I apologize if you have to stare at my face the whole time. The show is actually really good. We hope that you listen to it. If you just don't want to look at me the whole time, you can download the audio version, and that works just as well. But we do hope that you watch it and that you enjoy it. Again, we ask you to like, comment, leave us some feedback, and check in next week. Hopefully we'll be back to our regular schedule with James back. So with that being said, here is episode 70. Hey folks, welcome to the Life of Gaming podcast. You're watching episode number 70. And if you're looking for James, he's not here. So today, once again, I'll be Chris and I'll be your captain on this cruise of video game awesomeness. And joining us, as always, the man with the beard, Mr. Josh Brandt. Josh, how you doing, man?
What's up? How are you? I was deregulated to just guest here because I cannot host. You can let Chris host, please.
Hashtag Chris host. The problem is if you hosted, all we would do was talk about PlayStation, Overwatch, and Dark Souls. So we have to try to fit in
and Overwatch. Don't forget Overwatch.
And Overwatch. That's right. So we got to try to fit in some other topics. So, but that's all right. So we did reach out, and we had somebody that was able to kind of jump in and join us since James is absent. So Josh, you want to tell us who's joining us tonight?
Yes. Who is joining us? He is from the Xbox and Me podcast, and he's all over the groups. You probably know this guy. I've seen him somewhere. Awesome guy, knows games. Give it up to Joe Moran. How are you doing?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. It's an honor because I love this podcast. So just being on it, it's so special.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's about time we had you on.
It's very nice. I think pre-show we were talking. You were like the podcast used to be really bad until I joined, and now you love it. So I want to say I appreciate that.
I feel like those weren't my words.
I'm pretty sure. Listen, you may have not said it, but I'm pretty sure that's what you meant. That's
deep inside.
I was like
the love for Chris.
Until I came on. I was like, Josh is dead. I am the new Josh.
That's it. No, you can't take this beard over, man. I'm sorry.
No,
that's true.
There's only one beard.
I do feel bad though, because like all of our guests tend to have beards, and it's got to make Jamie feel real bad. You know, we joke around with Jamie because he's like 12 and he can't grow a beard, but that's all right.
Those
we don't
little whiskers don't cut it.
It doesn't work. So all right, so let's go ahead and jump in here. Let's talk about some video games. So we'll start like we do with every show, and we'll start with what we've been playing. So Josh, I'm going to let you go first, man. Tell us what you're playing.
Okay. Well, I had the privilege of reviewing this title called Tukaiden 2. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's for the PS4, PS Vita. There was already two other games in the series, Tukaiden Kiwami. It's pretty much a Monster Hunter clone. And what I mean, and pretty much you just scrap for armor pieces from the monsters you defeat. And it has the mechanic where you actually cut off limbs, which is pretty cool. It's made by the guys that made Dynasty Warriors.
Really?
If you like Dynasty Warrior games, you will love this because it has RPG mechanics. And with one kit, you get to create a character, and you get like to choose from 10 weapons, which you can switch out at any time for how you want to play. And you also have like this demon hand sort of thing where you can throw it out, grab like these large beasts, target different body parts, and then slash at them to make become part of your inventory. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I will say if you don't like Dynasty Warriors, it can be a little rough. It's sort of stilted, like it isn't a high quality next gen looking game, but as far as fun, it's it's worth checking out if you're into Monster Hunter games.
Okay.
So
how much is that at the moment?
How much is it?
It's a full. Yeah, it's actually full price on the PS4. I think the Vita's like $10 less. So with so much out to play, it's one of those games that I wouldn't buy right away. But since I got it for free, I it's worth it for that, obviously.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, so I was going to ask though. I mean, so you mentioned it's from the Dynasty Warriors people. They tend to
Omega Force,
suffer, maybe high fidelity as far as visuals, but they're able to always put so much on screen. Is there normally a lot of enemies like a Dynasty Warriors game, or is it made up just by like giant, like you said, it's like Monster Hunter? So are those beasts or whatever you're fighting just really giant, or do you still have like a lot of things on screen at one time?
That's a good question, because it's sort of like an open world. Like you have your hub world where you can craft armor, weapons, rest, save, things like that, buy items, and then you go out into the overworld. There's just a bunch of like side quests, and then the main quest where you go between towns. And in between there, it's like this huge open space or forest where you just go around and you kill. There's just enemies like these imps. What they're called? What's it called? The name has escaped me.
Orcs.
The name of the enemies.
Oh,
no, I forget. It's Japanese enemy name. I can't think of it right now. But there's just a bunch of these little guys that you can take out. You actually have to, once they're down, use this like charge up that actually then you suck their soul into you pretty much and get their items. But then you'll come across mid-range characters, and then like these big enemies like boss characters that actually are towering over you, so you have to go for each individual body part. But it's not like you're going against thousands of enemies at once. It's the smaller enemies you'll go against like 5, 6 maybe at a time, and then the big enemies.
There's something about you in games where you have to suck up souls, man. I tell you what, you can't get away from it.
I love sucking souls. I'm all about the souls.
What else, man? Anything else you've been playing?
Well, Legend of Zelda, obviously.
Obviously.
I can't explain it. Like I've just covered one part of the map, and there's this whole other part that I'm just getting to and starting, and it's actually easier over there. So I'm like, maybe I should have started on the left side, but my goodness, I mentioned this on in some of the groups. I said this is the best game of all time to me.
Yeah, man, it's really good.
Yeah,
I'm 32 years old. Saying that, not to give away my age, but
too late.
That game,
yeah,
that game it gives the nostalgia, man. Like, it never has a game since Ocarina, when like my brother also, who's more casual of a gamer, like he got the Switch, he got Zelda out of sheer convenience because he traded in his Wii U, and there hasn't been a game where I'm sitting there and he's sitting across the room and we're just talking shop about the game. Like, oh, I found this, or like, I found that, or like, did you know you could do this, that, the other thing? And it's just like, the game's so like huge that the internet's not been able to like tangle it, to dissect it.
No.
Impossible.
I was actually fixing to say that. It's like almost every podcast that I have listened to for like the last 2 weeks have some segment of the show where just everybody on the show, literally every person on the show is talking about Zelda. And even when you hear it, it's like it still doesn't come close to the experience of playing the game. Like if you're listening or watching this show for whatever reason you haven't played Zelda, whether you don't have a Switch or you just haven't went out and got it, like Breath of the Wild is one of the best games of all time. Like, and you can't understand it until you play it.
It's worth. It's the first system I feel worth buying just for one game. Like that's how good it is. I can't praise it enough. And then another Switch title I've been playing is The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, which is fantastic too. On this show, I've mentioned many times my love for The Binding of Isaac and its roguelike tendencies, but they've added hundreds of new items and this cool 8-bit like retro style and new music, and
that's cool.
It's phenomenal.
It's with a booklet. So if you buy the retail version of the game, it actually has an insert booklet, which is very rare nowadays.
And stickers.
Sorely missed.
Mm-hmm. What else? Anything else?
And There's probably a Mass Effect Andromeda. How could I forget?
Oh, that's right.
I know.
That's right.
Yeah, we've all been playing that in some capacity. I'll give you my initial thoughts to it. Yeah, and so far I'm just like 3 or 4 hours in, really. Haven't had the chance to play it too much. I'm still in the tutorial pretty much. But what I can tell, I really like the combat and how vertical it is in this one. Like when you jetpack up and you can sort of hover there a little bit and shoot. I like how when you level up, there's like there's a lot of options. You're not just stuck on something like in the other Mass Effects, which is cool. Like I have this little shield I can put up in front of me. And I have this pole power, which I can actually suspend people in the air and just shoot at them, which is really nice. Yeah, I'm really liking it right now. But I will say I didn't think the facial animations, and I thought that was all being overblown. Like,
oh, man.
What's the problem with this? But absolutely horrendous. Like,
it is.
I can't explain. Like, it actually, I didn't think it would affect the game, but it does. Like when after you played The Witcher 3 and all these other games that are open world and there's really no excuse for it. I sort of it's that bad. Like I don't know.
I feel like if this was on the 360, this would be all right.
Yes, I agree.
But now that like I'm playing it on the Xbox One, and I have two major problems with it. It's the animations are horrendous, right? But not just that, dialogue, which is like supposed to be like the strongest thing about Mass Effect. At least like I'm 9-10 hours in. It is insanely weak. So like you have it's not like to better terms, like it's really cut and dry. And I didn't know if it was like for the longest time if the actors were just not doing a good job or the writers weren't doing a good job. And when we got to the guy from Silicon Valley, I forget his name, and the girl that plays Marjorie Tyrell in Game of Thrones, and I was just like, it's the dialogue, because I know these two actors and actresses, they're fantastic. But like, exactly. But like this one is just like, oh boy.
It's sort of like casting Peter Dinklage as that little robot in Destiny.
Yes.
Like he's a fantastic actor, but the voice acting was just so bad for what he was supposed to do. Like,
hey, that wizard from the moon. It's like you get lines like that in Mass Effect.
Yeah. I mean, I'll jump in, and anybody who's watched our show, has followed my progression from being so super excited for Mass Effect to absolutely not wanting to play it, and but I am an EA Access member, so I get 10 hours for free, and literally it took everything I had to put down Zelda just to even try it. But I did probably put a couple of hours into it. You know, I will say once I kind of got into it, it does feel like Mass Effect, and I like that. I mean, you know, it felt like Mass Effect that I remember. I don't know if that. I don't know if. We talked about this. You brought up nostalgia with Zelda. I don't know if the Mass Effect nostalgia that I had for 2 specifically and 3 is enough to make me care enough to put 40 or 50 hours into this game. So the facial animations look horrible. The environments look fantastic, and then they like zoom in on a dialogue, and you're like, whoa, did we just switch to a? It's like they almost put like a 16-bit like pixel mode into the game, but switch it, you know, without asking you. You know, sometimes it just looks awful. But I mean, you know, that to me, like that, if the writing is good and the dialogue is good, I can overlook, you know, ghost faces.
Now, I got a question for you, Chris. You said you're playing on EA Access. You're playing it on Xbox One, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you experiencing what I'm experiencing? I'm playing it on an Xbox One, and the pop-ins, like shrubbery just appears out of nowhere. And or like something that it's just a little pop-ins as you're moving along, and it's like sometimes like there was a canyon that was kind of like wigging out. It was like turning like black and gray. Were you getting some of that too?
I've had some pop up. I've also had some pretty steep frame rate dips. And so I haven't played any of the multiplayer stuff. And like I said, I've only put about 2 hours into the game. So I will say that I do feel that at some point I will play this game because I do love the world of Mass Effect, but just in the 2 hours I've played, there is not enough there that makes me, number one, convinces me to keep going because as soon as we get on with this podcast, I'm playing Zelda some more. Until
Splatoon 2.
Until Splatoon, we'll get there. And then number two, to actually go out and buy it. I'm playing the 10-hour trial, so that trial is supposed to make you turn around and buy the game. But even though I have enjoyed the little bit that I've played, and it does feel like a familiar world that I do enjoy, it isn't enough for me to turn around and be like, yeah, I want to drop $60 on this right now. So for me, Mass Effect, it gets a positive review as far as shortcomings aside. It is still more Mass Effect, but it definitely, like, I could wait till that game is $20 in 6 months and play it then. I'm just not really into diving into it right now. So
agree.
Yeah, no,
I actually got stuck in a rock. Like literally stuck in a rock. Like
Zelda Link would climb over that crap.
I know. Yeah. Right. I can't even jetpack out of it.
Let's move on. Josh, anything else, man?
Nope, that's about it.
Okay, all right. No. Well, Josh is the one that brought up Mass Effect. All right, okay. Now, Joe. Now it's all you. You tell us what you're playing, man.
All right. So I've been playing a lot of games, man. This week has been a little crazy for me, but I've been able to first actually start Shovel Knight.
Oh, on Switch?
Yeah. And
yes.
I first time ever.
Oh, wait a second. Hang on. You've never played Shovel Knight?
Never. I've always wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
I envy you because I love this game so much.
I've always wanted to play it, and I understand like how hard it is and whatnot. And I bought it on the PlayStation 4 for the physical copy. Never got around to it. But then on the Switch, I was just like, you know what? I could see myself playing this game on this console.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna hop on it. And there's two things right off the bat. I'm not even like 30 minutes into it. I beat the first level and then some. But the two things I love right off the bat is the music just brings me back. It just takes me. It feels like I'm there on my SNES or my NES, and I'm just playing.
So good.
And the combat as well. It's special. Like I understand why so many people have an affinity for this game. It's something special. So that's a game that I plan on really taking my time with and really just going through the paces with it every time. Like I'm off of a class or like I'm, like rendering a video, I'll be playing that. I've been playing Legend of Zelda. This is my second playthrough already. So I beat the game.
You beat the game.
Yes,
so now wait a second. So you say second playthrough. So you didn't just reload and now you're going around. You started over again.
I started over again.
Okay. All right.
I made a mistake.
All right.
Fair enough. You can't make mistakes in Zelda.
This time around,
I guess
I'm going to do something pretty crazy.
Okay.
I'm going to beat Ganon without beating any of the divine beasts.
Oh, nice. Nice. I like it.
So that's my mission is to just do all the shrines and then fight Ganon.
Okay.
And make him my girlfriend because he's those boss fights in Zelda. I gotta give props to them to an extent because I remember why I love Dark Souls so much. Every time the entrance of a boss appears, they get that little their little intro, and I'm just like, oh, I remember this is why I love Dark Souls.
Yeah,
it's because of Zelda.
Yep.
God, this is amazing.
I gotta play a boss now.
I know.
Get to a boss.
I know.
Yeah. That ending it's fantastic. The game is just fantastic. It's just like it's deep where it needs to be, and then it's just simplistic where it needs to be as well. To me, like the game's like 3,000 miles wide, 5 miles deep in some areas, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like the weapon system, I like it. Like when people are like, my weapons are breaking too much, I'm like, get better weapons.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like when you get the higher quality weapons, goblins fall within a swipe. So like it's not even an issue. And then when you're fighting guardians, just carry that master sword with you. Oh, it's so beautiful. You know, it's amazing. The game is just the talk now. Like I feel like going forward, it's not even like who's gonna compete with this game. It's like this game, it's set in stone. It's gonna be the game of the year.
Yeah,
it's just like
not even
now. What game is gonna be? Yeah, no, not even. And like that's such a terrific game too.
Yeah,
and like it's just like, man, leave it to Zelda. I always say that, like, leave it to Zelda because they make just some of the best games ever designed, really. And then what's the next thing I've been playing? Mass Effect. Mass Effect. So I'm 9 hours in, and it's finally clicked. It's finally hooked me.
Oh, good.
And it was rough the first few hours. It was. Mass Effect is such a steeple. It is such a great series, and that's what you expect right out of the gate. It's like I'm expecting great. Like Mass Effect 2, one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Mass Effect 3, a little bit of a letdown, but like still great action. And Andromeda in the beginning is real rough. I feel like
it's a lot of exposition.
Yes. Yeah. But I feel like that could have been done. That and so much exposition for just a basic story plot, you know? You know, where
that's true.
The original trilogy is like, to me, like Star Wars pacing meets Star Trek, where like the first one you could play and you could beat it, and that one is all you need to know. You're like, that could be your New Hope. You know, Mass Effect 2 is your Empire Strikes Back. You get the depth of the characters. You care for them. You love them. Miranda, oh boy. And then like Mass Effect 3. Exactly. Mass Effect 3 is
went for Turi or whatever.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah.
But Mass Effect 3 is like, you know, the sequel of 2. You know, it's a true sequel.
Yeah.
And so getting to Andromeda, you would like a, like, you know, Force Awakens vibe, but from what I'm getting so far is just a real rough experience.
Yeah,
I'm getting a Phantom Menace vibe.
Yeah.
No.
But it's changed into better.
I agree. I agree that, and the one thing is, and this may actually work for its detriment. You know, Mass Effect 1 was Xbox exclusive, still is. You can't play it anywhere else. And so I think a lot of
Mass Effect 1, you can play it on PS3.
Oh, did they finally port it over?
Oh yeah, it's been years.
The trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was gonna.
It took a while.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say it was gonna, you know, some people may have missed, you know, that first game, so this is a good way to introduce them back to the kind of the world. But I didn't realize it was released. So that. But the point still remains. You know, the one thing that was great about, you know, Force Awakens is that it told a new story and introduced new people, but it still had the essence of what the first game was. That's not what they're doing with Andromeda. They're going completely opposite from kind of the direction. Like I felt Mass Effect was kind of a very personal story, and the writers, there's definitely personal stuff for the writers, but the story is about the greater purpose of trying to find a new land, right? As opposed to you know, to the original Mass Effect, while all this stuff was going on, you know, around them, you know, with Saren and you know, and kind of the, you know, the ancient artifacts and things, but it was really just kind of, it starts with just your shepherd, right? And you're the first Spectre, human Spectre, and just kind of your interaction with this world and the species. And the first one specifically felt, even though it was a sprawling epic, felt like a much more personal story. And I don't get that vibe so far. And again, I'm really early, but I don't get that vibe so far from Mass Effect. It feels like it's trying to be this giant epic right from like moment one.
Yeah. with Andromeda, I feel like the plot was like I'm all for it. Like I'm like, okay, like take some of the aliens we know, that's cute, but like I want to see all the aliens. Like I want to see different species out there. I'm 9 hours in. I just got introduced finally to a new species, but I'm like, that should have been right off the bat. I should have.
Yeah.
I mean, you do see the cat, but I'm like, I should see more.
Yeah.
Than what I'm seeing here.
It seems like it's half baked, really, in some aspects.
Yeah, but once the game's done holding your hand, which it takes too long, in my opinion. Yeah. Once you get on the Tempest and you're now exploring worlds, that's where I'm like, okay, I love this game. Here it is. Like it's finally opening up to me, and I'm finally I met Jal, the new alien, and I'm just like, oh my God, I love this because they have this like Middle Eastern, North African like vibe to them.
Oh, cool.
Like yeah, and they do it right. Like they sound they have that like North African like kind of like, I hate to say almost Egyptian like sound that us Westerners would think they'd make.
Cool. Yeah,
and it's not like but their architecture is just so unique. And it's so different that like games like Warcraft, when they introduce the Draenei, they're Turkish or Russian, take your pick, and like they're so Turkish or Russian. You know, like even their architecture, it's like there's nothing really unique about them that much. And so like with these guys, I'm like, okay, this is finally opening up. It just took way too long, and there are so many technical issues that I'm just like the pop-ins, the frame rate drops, the AI, your friendly AI are the dumbest group of idiots I've seen.
I do agree.
Like, yeah. It's like when like you guys know, you guys have kids. It's like your wife played a trick on you and she's like gave them all sugar, and then like you're out in the mall and you're trying to like get them to behave, and they're just like running around like like Cora was in a plant. I turned around and she's like hopping around a plant. I'm like, Cora, do I need a
or they'll just stand out in the open. Oh, there's somebody firing at me. I'll just stand here. Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's so flawed, but it's making its way. But now I'm just excited for ukulele.
Man, yeah, ukulele is good. All right, let's wrap up this. I'll go over. So we pretty much hit most of what I've been playing. So Legend of Zelda for me, too. I still haven't even. I've taken down one beast, the first one. I think everybody pretty much goes to the first one if they're trying to follow the story path, which is the one in the Zora domain. So I've done that, but from there, that on the map is in the far east, and so from there I have literally just made a beeline, and I have ran or walked /ran till my stamina's down, all the way across to the west of the map, taking down towers and shrines. I have not even got close to a beast. I'm now on the far west, overlooking the platform where the elephant is. It looks like a desert area. So I think I'm actually gonna go try to slap that elephant around.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you defeat those dragon-like things flying around? Like I see that one by the fire.
Well, because I think from what I understand, and again, we don't want to. So, Joe, I know that you've beat this, so we don't necessarily maybe want to spoil stuff. But from what I understand, you can collect dragon scales, is what I heard. So,
that's one of the quests. I don't know.
So I would assume that you at least have to hit them with an arrow and knock one off. I don't know if you can actually kill them. So.
Yeah. I when I saw those dragons, I was just like, I'm just gonna back away. You look cool.
It's frightening.
I've seen enough Dragon Ball Z.
That's right. That's right.
So my brother has he's now fighting these big guys that just make my day horrible, and he's just like, yeah, no, they're pretty easy. I'm like, I've not been able to. I think they're called like a Lionel or something like that.
Lionel, Lynel.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, the horse lion people.
Yeah, not Lionel Richie.
And
not walking on the wall.
No, not Lionel Richie, but close enough. Actually, if they would, if you're looking at Nintendo, if you're looking for DLC options, actually having that guy sing Lionel Richie songs, hello, is it me you're looking for? That would actually be fantastic. I would replay those sections for that. I mean, this game is fantastic. We literally could talk the whole rest of the hour about Zelda, and we still wouldn't even come close to giving it the praise that it deserves. It's fantastic. So that Mass Effect we've already talked about. So the only other thing that I'll talk about is the Splatoon test fire, the global test fire. Joe, did you play this at all today?
Yes, I also made a video on it. You can watch it at Poly Games on YouTube.
Oh, very nice. You guys hear that? Is it polygames.com?
Yep, yeah. Okay. Poly Games on YouTube, Poly Network on the .com scene, and
yep,
big Splatoon guy.
Go watch it. I'm actually planning to stream, so it's coming up here in a couple of hours. So I'm planning on streaming mine tonight. But yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. Josh was working, so he didn't get a chance to play it. But I stepped away from my desk for personal reasons, and I played for the full hour. So I'll give my thoughts, and then we'll get yours, and then we can kind of move on. So I absolutely love Splatoon. Splatoon reminded me, and should have reminded most people, why Nintendo is as loved as they are, because they had not released a brand new IP really since Pikmin. Now, if you want to argue that Wii Sports is an IP, that was 2011, but I would actually go as far as back to say they haven't actually released a set IP since Pikmin. So this was the first time, and Splatoon on the Wii U was my favorite game on the system. Now I did the top 10 Wii U games, and I gave number 1 to Mario Kart 8 because I do think that is near perfect game, but I probably had personally more fun with Splatoon on the Wii U than any other game, and I absolutely loved it. So I've been super pumped to jump in. Right off the bat, I absolutely hate the motion controls.
Oh God.
So the motion controls were, you could toggle them off and or on the Wii U version, and I tried to use them on the Wii U version. I hated them there, so I turned them off, and I played the whole game.
James would hate you
like that. As soon as I logged into Splatoon the test fire today, I didn't change anything. I just went straight to a match, and the motion controls were on. Here's what I will say: they were sensitive enough. Because I actually like the motion controls on Zelda. But what ended up happening, and I'm gonna hold my Switch. What ended up happening was that this angle was my default.
Yes.
So if I was holding it like this so that I could watch, my dude was just looking straight up. And I couldn't find a button that would reset the center of motion controls, so I literally had to play like this the whole time, which I absolutely hated. So so after my first match, I exited out just back to the kind of the main online menu. Again, it's a test fire, so it's not the proper UI, but it's where you can pick like your guns. And from there, if you hit I believe it's either the plus or the minus button, but
plus.
Yeah, I think it's the plus is the menu button. You'll jump in and you can turn the motion controls off. So I turned the motion controls off. I jumped into the next game, and the sensitivity of the right stick is set so high. I was running around like a person that didn't have a head. Like I would barely touch the little stick on my Joy-Con, and it would just fly like 45 degrees. So so that game didn't go so well. So I got out. I moved. I put it. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 on the sensitivity of the right stick, and jumped back in, and hallelujah, it felt so good. So once I finally got the control where it felt like I wanted it to feel, from there on out, it was everything that I wanted it to be. It was great. I got booted from 2 games, but again, this is a stress test, so that's going to happen. But the games that I stayed in, I didn't really notice any sort of lag, and I was playing at my office. on Wi-Fi, and so we have I don't know, I want to say maybe 30-foot ceilings in our building, and all the Wi-Fi hubs are on the ceiling. Now we're a technology company, so they're really good Wi-Fi hubs, but they're still way up in the sky. And I was down, on the floor, not on the floor, but in my chair playing, and I didn't have one one sort of like no lag or nothing like that while I was playing, other than the two parts that I got booted, but I believe that was probably more network side on Nintendo's end. So my thoughts of just the first hour is that it is absolutely everything that I want. Now, I will say that I kind of do want to play with motion. But they're either going to have to fix it on the handheld where I can recenter my camera, or I will only play motion when I can play with my Pro Controller sitting in front of a TV. Because I need to, if I'm going to play handheld, I need to be able to hold it up where it's just facing me, and I need to be able to play that way. So I'm going to keep motions off for the rest of the time that I'm playing, probably right now. But that's kind of where I am. Joe, you're up. What's up? What do you think?
So I have the same issue that you had. I played this any which way I could. So I played it with, just mobile mode. I played it with the kickstand. I played it mostly, though, on the TV with the Pro Controller. And I have the same issues that you did, where, this is how I play games. I play them elbows on the table. I'm impolite. And
that's only when you're eating. You don't have to worry about playing games. You can't eat.
But with the Switch, I'm like, I'm having five guys, and I'm just like this. And it's an issue because it seems like the way it wants you to play is with the controller flat like this, or else your aim is going
exactly.
up.
Yes, that was the problem. Yes, I hated it.
And I'm just like, what is going on here? So I turned it off immediately. Once I was like, weapon screen. Well, first, so I turned off the motion, and then everything was better. Everything was right in the world. Yes. I love that game so much because it's so just good. Like, it's so fun. Like, whether you're getting ripped apart by some Japanese kids or whether you're you will.
You're like, not like flying all over the stage. Ninja.
And it's just, it's so well paced for like 3 minutes of just like pure fun.
Yeah.
And I found that these maps they're a little more close. They're not as big and sprawling.
Yeah.
They're not as vertical, but they are more squeezed in, so I can have more action. There's more action.
Yeah, a lot more action. I agree. I felt there were times in the first game I felt like I was just running around for seconds and not even seeing a person. Yeah, it didn't. It always felt pretty fast paced. This game. Yeah, for sure.
The special abilities you can use in the game are so awesome.
They're good.
Like, this game is so. I had the dualies, which I don't know.
The dualies are. I put the guys in the message as soon as I got done. I was like, without question, the dualies are now my favorite weapon in this game.
I'm so horrible with them. I'm just like, splat shot or go home is where I'm at.
I want the big rolling thing, whatever.
Yeah, the roller. It's there.
I just want to roll over people.
But yeah, I like being on like the great thing about it is it does those rewards, like the kill streaks, I guess, so right, where it's all about filling space.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more space you fill and more of the enemies you conquer, the more your meter fills.
Yeah.
And when you get those things, it's not like an AC-130 or like a helicopter in the old Call of Duty games. You're still vulnerable, if not more vulnerable, because now you're letting everybody know where you are.
Yes.
So there was an awesome part where this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in a multiplayer game in so long. I see two guys jump on their jetpacks, two enemy guys, and my friend jump on his jetpack, and they're shooting each other. I'm like, well, I'm joining in on this. And it was just like rockets of like paint just flying everywhere.
I love it. Yes.
It's fantastic. The AA guns that you get are fantastic. It's just this game. Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite IP from Nintendo.
Yeah,
it's just like
so good, so good.
Gets multiplayer right in this unique way without having to try so hard.
Yep.
It's
No,
fantastic. I loved it.
I agree. So the Global Test Fire is going on this weekend. By the time you listen to this, you're going to be out of luck because we don't post these until Sunday. But just so you know, we've had a lot of fun. So we're playing again tonight. Yeah. There are three slots tomorrow on Saturday, which is the 26th, I believe, and then Sunday. I think there are 2 slots on Sunday. So
25th and 26th.
25th and 26th.
Saturdays,
So I'm super excited. So far, all I can say is it's exactly what I wanted from Splatoon, and the fact that I can play it at work in the little community area with my Switch, not plugged into anything, is everything that I want in life. So I mean, this is going to be. There's going to be a lot of nights with me just driving to Starbucks and having a giant coffee and sitting in the in one of the comfy chairs.
We're gonna see a lot of that. Oh yeah.
So I'm excited. So Splatoon looks good. I'm telling you guys, this year for Nintendo, I don't understand how people could even have questioned what Nintendo was doing year one. We're getting Zelda, which is probably the greatest game ever made. Splatoon looks like just so much fun. One of the best shooters I've ever experienced. We're getting Mario Kart 8, which is by far almost a perfect game as Zelda is in its genre. And then we're getting a brand new Mario. We're going to have all of that this year, by the end of this year on the Switch. That is fantastic. So we need to move on.
Sure.
That's what we're playing. Let's jump into the news. We kind of went long on what we're playing, and that's fine because that's actually what I enjoy. So I'm gonna hit the news updates relatively quick, and we'll just kind of jump in and color these any that we might need to. So on the wait a second, I got to do James's thing. And what we call and this is what we call the captain's log. That's my impression of James. James, we love you. All right, so backwards compatible games were announced this week, as well as the April games with gold. So real quick, now available on backwards compatibility on the Xbox One, you have Assassin's Creed Revelation. Cool. I actually think it's Revelations. I think there's an S on that. Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2, Stacking, Daytona USA, and Tower Blocks. And then for your games with gold in April on the Xbox One, you're getting Rise on April 1st. That's not a joke. See, that's funny.
I wish it was.
And then... And then on the 15th, you're going to get Telltale's Walking Dead Season 2. So that's on your Xbox One. On the 360, on April 1st, you're going to get the original Darksiders, again, which is now backwards compatible. And then on the 15th, you're going to get Assassin's Creed Revelations, which, again, is also backwards compatible. So that's your Xbox update there as far as content. I do want to mention that if you are part of the Insider Program, Joe, are you part of the Insider Program on Xbox One?
No, I am not, unfortunately.
Okay. So if you're part of the Insider Program, effective, I think, tonight, so as we're recording, which is the 24th, they're going to be pushing out the new dashboard update to almost all users. I think it's Alpha, Beta, and Ring 3 on the Insider Hub, and then I think Ring 4 is going to follow pretty closely. There's a lot of stuff on there. We are not going to go over it. They are adding the Arena finally, which they announced last year at E3. Right. So the Arena ability is going to be there. The things that I'm most excited for have to do with your profile. So you can now do custom gamer pics. So if you guys want to take pictures of your junk and put it on for your gamer pick, you're now
don't do that. Don't give him ideas.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that. That's all that Josh does. That's all he sends us all day in the messenger. It's disappointing. One of the things I did want to mention, that the thing that I actually do love the most about this
PlayStation gamer. All I do is sit there with the controller right along my
completely buck naked. I love it.
I can just imagine the text is like, I'm eating right now, man.
So listen, the one thing that I do want to mention that I love about this, they have this new feature where you can select a specific achievement and you can then pin it to your screen. So like, let's say for instance, you're hammering out something on Mass Effect, and maybe the achievement is you need to mine 200 planets, whatever. You can actually pin that to the screen. It'll be up in the top corner, and you can make it kind of opaque.
That's awesome.
so it kind of goes through. But every time you hit a new planet, it'll just update in real time. So if you're an achievement hunter, like, that's a super cool little thing. It's that little carrot on the end of the stick. It's like, oh, I really need to go to bed. It's 4 a.m., but I just need 3 more planets. I'm gonna do it. Whatever it is, it's kind of cool. So that's there. But there's a lot more stuff. If you go to Xbox, the Xbox Wire, they have kind of a full list of what that looks like, and you can kind of you can look through that. Let's jump to Destiny, boys. Do you guys play Destiny, Joe?
Oh man, yes, I have, and I've been a hardcore Destiny fan since Alpha.
Oh wow,
that's how long I've been with the series.
Wow,
so it means
all
a
right.
lot.
So when you were talking about That's No Moon, you were in, man. You were.
I was there.
You know it all. Yep.
I have the Ghost edition of the first game.
Oh, cool.
Limited edition of the Taken King. The only expansion I haven't played actually was the Rise of Iron, because I knew if I played that I would get nothing reviewed. So
Fair enough.
I had to hold off. Yeah.
So a website, actually it's pretty much everywhere now, but I forget who originally released it. But basically a poster has gotten kind of leaked out that does show the official name as being Destiny 2, and it does show a release date of September 8th, and neither one of those things should be a surprise. A game with a 2 in it is going to sell better, just because that's how it works. And September was when Destiny initially launched. That's when the Taken King launched. So again, shouldn't be a surprise that we're going to see the release in September. This is not confirmed by any stretch. This is just a leaked poster. But if I was a betting man, I'd go ahead and start putting your money back for September 8th.
Yeah.
So you excited for this, Joe? You're going to be playing Destiny 2?
The only thing that really pisses me off in life is this. I'm a college student, guys. All right. And it seems like they have every awesome game. And
right when school starts back.
Exactly. I'm just like, beforehand, like a month before school, I'm like, I get my stuff together. This is when Joseph doesn't play around anymore. I'm like, ace all my classes. Destiny 2 comes out. I dropped some of my classes.
I don't really need to go today. It'll be fine.
Exactly. So
it was on the Switch. You just have your Switch there under the desk, and yeah.
Totally. Those are dreams.
Okay, a couple more news stories here, and then we're gonna jump into the topic of the week. I'm excited about it. So let's a couple things here. EA has confirmed that at the EA Play event in June, they are going to have hands-on with Star Wars Battlefront 2. They also said that the new kind of relaunch Need for Speed will be there hands-on as well. This is not necessarily a surprise. We know that Battlefront 2 is coming, but the fact that you're going to be hands-on, and EA Play, for those of you who don't know, takes the place of EA's E3 presence, and it is open to the public. So that means that people in the area in June are going to actually be able to go hands-on with the game, and what I would assume would be the first time, because I don't anticipate they're going to show it or share anything before E3. So that'll be our first time to get a look at Battlefront 2, and it will be hands-on at the event, which will be really, really cool. You guys Battlefront fans?
A little bit, some would say.
I love the first Star Wars Battlefront, so I'm excited.
Yeah. I like the original. It was flawed, but
yeah,
I'm really excited.
It was bare bones, but it's Star Wars, and my son loves playing it to be Darth Vader or Luke or whoever. And I hope that they're adding a single player. That's not confirmed yet, I don't think, but they're adding a single player, hopefully, and I hope we're going to get some type of Hoth level. There's always a Hoth level, but I hope that they try to delve deeper into different alien places, like maybe where the Wookiees are at or something, something different. Yeah, 'cause
look.
she-
I will play almost anything that they do with Star Wars, so I'm excited about that. Side note: this is not in my notes, but as you're listening to this, Tuesday, which is the 28th, 29th, Rogue One is out on Blu-ray. So
It's out on digital right now.
It is out on digital right now. I already have it. Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So good.
It comes out. It comes out.
Is so good.
When does it
It's
come out?
Tuesday.
Blu-ray?
It's Tuesday. Whatever
This
Tuesday
coming
is.
Tuesday.
Yeah, this Tuesday,
I thought it
man.
was April.
I thought it was this Tuesday.
No.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it's
don't
next-
listen.
all I know is
Don't
Let
buy
me
Blu-rays
fact check.
because don't buy Blu-rays because they're going to go into a landfill. Anyways, go to iTunes right now and buy it and
My
download
physical.
it and watch it because it's amazing and is my second favorite Star Wars movie of all time. And
Is it now? That's
yes.
what my brother's
You
like.
love
You know what?
Rogue.
This is my second favorite.
You've only seen it like
Well,
10, 15 times.
I did see it quite a bit. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
What's your
it comes
favorite?
out on the 4th. Okay.
I mean, okay, so 2 weeks. All right, so my bad. 2 weeks when you're listening to this. Go, but you can download it right now. My Empire's my favorite. I really love New Hope. If I was ranking them, I would go Empire, Rogue One, New Hope, and then Jedi.
Okay.
And but Rogue One does something for me that none of the other movies have done, and it's just that it tells a story of from a grander view. Like all the proper movies are all really about Skywalkers. They're all about Vader's rise and fall, and then redemption, and then Luke's rise, and now we're continuing that story with whoever Rey is. But spoiler, she's going to be related to Skywalker somehow. So for Rogue One to come in and not have that lineage, but still feel exactly like a Star Wars movie and tell a complete story that I thought was dang near perfect. I thought it was excellent. They honored all the stuff that came before it, and it was great.
Yeah. I've watched Force Awakens in theaters, guys, 9 times.
Yes.
I watched Rogue One.
He did beat me, yes.
4 times.
Wow. Oh.
And I beat you with Rogue One.
Star Wars.
So I ended up going Force Awakens 6 times, and I ended up, I think my last count for Rogue One was 9.
Oh my god.
But yeah. So okay,
I don't have enough money to.
This is not the Star Wars. This is not the Star Wars cast. Even though I would absolutely love to do that show. Okay, moving on. A couple more news stories. Minecraft story mode has been announced for Switch. It's coming out in June, and they've announced that it is listed at retail for $39.99. Now, if that sounds off, that's because the game is available everywhere else for $29.99. So now we had Isaac at the Binding of Isaac is a little bit more and
that's all right.
But that I think that it came with all of its. I think it came with all of its content, but they did announce Rhyme, and Rhyme's coming out day and date with everything with all the other platforms. But it's going to be $10 more, and now we have this from story mode. The biggest concern about this with Minecraft story mode is that's a Telltale game, and there has been a rumor now that Telltale Batman is going to be coming out on the Switch, and they've already confirmed that Guardians of the Galaxy will be coming out on Switch. And so now are we expected to pay $10 more for both of those games? This is a big concern for Switch owners, and something that we're definitely are going to be watching and talking about in the coming days. But let's move on for now. Mario Run launched last week, so on the 23rd, it launched on Android. And so we had, and then along with the release on Android, it released with the 2.0 update, which also then was pushed to iOS. So if you're still playing Super Mario Run, there's some new content there for you, which includes 3 brand new colored Yoshis that you can play as. Our very own James Milikonoski, I don't know what his last name is. It doesn't matter.
Michelangelo.
Markola Juskar.
Way too many.
Michelangelo.
way too many letters, man. Just way too many letters. So anyway,
K's, I don't like it.
He's an Android guy, so he downloaded it this week and he played the first 3 levels and he whined about not liking it. That's because he's a giant dummy.
Not worth $10.
But you shut your mouth. Hey, we're on Google Hangouts tonight. I actually
You're
can't
the
mute
leader.
you.
I better not.
All right. Last thing here before we kind of move on. Nintendo addresses the Joy-Con issue. So since before launch, whenever people started reviewing the hardware and started kind of putting their previews out before the launch of the Switch, there was a lot of talk about Joy-Con syncing issues, primarily with the left Joy-Con. Joe, have you had any problems with your Joy-Cons?
No, because they've been attached to my console like they should be. So like,
amen to that.
Chris loves you for that.
Here's the thing. I feel like what should have happened was that they should have just packed a Pro controller in with the Switch. Now I understand they were trying to get it down for cost, but I don't think that the Joy-Cons were ever really meant to be a standalone single controller. I think that they were meant to be able to take with you and then to pop them off right in front of your screen and play like on the side, because I've never had a problem when it's like a foot in front of me on a table. That's never been my problem. However, I bought a couple of Switches, but we have one in the family room for when the kids play. And the way that our entertainment center is it's actually behind a wall, kind of on a shelf, and I have all my cords going through the wall, and my TV is hung up on the wall. And we constantly lose connection with the Joy-Con controller.
Wow.
And,
that's a problem.
And with the left. So what will happen is I'll take my Pro controller in there in the exact same scenario with it on the other side of the wall. I have absolutely no problems with the Pro controller. So what that tells me is that Nintendo initially was like, people aren't going to put this in their living room and not have a Pro controller. However, we're going to force them to buy one. We're not going to put it in the box. So that tends to be kind of what happened. I think that should have been included. Regardless, though, it is definitely an issue, and Nintendo has finally acknowledged it. Yeah. And so if you are having trouble with your Joy-Cons, you can contact Nintendo's customer service. Just go to Nintendo.com or just Google Nintendo Joy-Con issue, and you'll find a link there. And what you'll have to do is you'll have to mail in your Joy-Cons to them. They are putting a specific piece of foam on the inside, which I don't know, isolates the connection or something. I don't know exactly what it does. I'm not a scientist, but they will send it back to you all nice and shiny. And from what I'm not magic either, but from what we're hearing, it does address the issue. I think that we've had a few people that have gotten them back now, and have done some teardowns, and it does appear to be working. So if you are one of the ones that are having trouble, you need to reach out to Nintendo and fix that. I actually have 2 sets of Joy-Cons that it does it on all the time, so I'll be sending both of those in this week. I was actually hoping to contact them before we had the show, but hashtag life. So I'm going to be doing that and getting those on. So I will report back on how easy that process is. But that's something you guys need to know. Okay. All right. So go ahead.
If I could just put my tinfoil hat on, I know I'm going to, but I really think Nintendo really did take the Pro controller out for non-necessity. It was definitely for greed. Like they're just like, people are going to want this. Tack on an extra $10. We make more money. Because the way this thing is selling with accessories right now, Nintendo is in the money right now.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. And I do not play. I do not take my Joy-Cons off of my Switch. No. If I come home and I'm streaming and it's down here on the dock, I play with the Pro controller. Any other time, they're just on there. And I actually carry my Pro controller in my bag with me. So if for whatever reason I'm going to play in tabletop mode, I'm playing with this. I'm not taking the Joy-Cons off. See,
if it's tabletop mode, I do take the Joy-Cons off. I like it. I like the feel of it. And other than that, though, yeah, no, I don't.
But again, it's right in front of you, right? That screen is so small. It isn't like you're going to put it 6 feet across the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So with you right in front of it, you're not going to have the connection issue. The problem is, and they even have videos. I mean, if you go to YouTube, you can see videos where at about 5 to 6 feet distance, even with nothing in between you, at about 5 or 6 distance, you start to get either latency or dropped connection from the Joy-Con. So that's definitely a hardware issue. Nintendo calls it like a selective manufacturing issue, meaning that the hardware is not flawed, but the way it was manufactured, a certain batch was manufactured wrong. Whatever they want to say, that's fine. As long as they're fixing it, that's what's important.
As long as they're fixing it.
Yeah, and they are fixing it. So you guys can reach out for that. Okay, last bit of news, which is going to lead us to our topic. So Josh, get ready. So Dark Souls 3 DLC, we knew it was coming, but it's called The Ringed City, and it will be available for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on March 28th. Guys, that's next week.
So that's really, really cool. Switch.
Yeah, so it's $14.99, and so or if you have the Dark Souls 3 season pass, it's just part of the season pass. And then they went ahead and announced, I guess, what is the final, which is a Dark Souls. It's called The Fire Fades. It's the Game of the Year edition, which includes all of the DLC up to the date, and they're releasing that on April 21st. So if you haven't jumped into the Dark Souls 3 train, if you want to wait another month, you can jump in and get all the DLC. For that, I would assume that's going to be your regular $59.99 price tag, but they did not price it, so you'll just have to check your retailers for that. All right. Now, that leads us into what Josh just told us, which is going to be our topic of the week. But before I tell you what that is, I'm going to say, hit it, Josh.
Never gonna go away. Never gonna go away. Never gonna go away. Never gonna go away.
Wow.
You know what that's from?
No, I have no idea.
I went to an Emery show. And it doesn't sound that bad, but that's one of their songs, okay?
Emery? Who's Emery?
You don't know who Emery is?
No, I don't know. Is that an Ohio band? I don't know.
No. They're just one of the best post-hardcore bands.
Oh, my gosh. Post-hardcore. I you know what?
I lost you there.
I need to Google what post-hardcore means. All right. So our topic of the week, boys and ladies.
I made Joe
may still be
quiver in his seat over there.
I thought he was going to try to dance. Is what I thought was going to happen. So
you can't dance to that. All you can do is make your head explode.
So my sister-in-law is in the other room. She took her wedding ring off. That's what she did.
Man, she heard those. She was like, "Where's that sultry vixen coming from?"
That's where our viewership just.
It's like the sound. Right, it's like the sound of the siren song is what that is.
Yeah.
Wow, we haven't even announced the topic of the week. This is going great. All right, so the topic of the week is games we want to see on the Switch. So Josh mentioned this, which was he was like Dark Souls 3 should come to the Switch, and that's actually been kind of talked about, in rumor mill, and kind of like little hints here from the developer on Twitter. Another game that we kind of mentioned was the team over at Overwatch. Was kind of like, oh, we'd love to have our game on the Switch, and you hear this from developers. Mention things about how, we'd love to make a game for the Switch, or that'd be great, or we'd love to work with Nintendo, and these little hints and stuff. So we are now close to a month. We're a little over 3 weeks from the release of the Switch, and we haven't had a lot of third-party support. The third-party support that we see that is coming is overpriced, and we're not going to talk about that tonight. But what I thought would be a good point of entry with Joe here too, and Joe agreed, was maybe just talk about some games that we like on other platforms, and it doesn't even have to maybe be a specific game. It could just be like a franchise that you'd like to see maybe make their next entry on the Switch. But anyways, so just thought we kind of open it up and talk about games that we would like to see, specifically third-party games that we would like to see come over to Switch. So where do you want to start, boys? What game comes to mind?
Okay.
I think let's get Overwatch right out of it.
I was going to say, this is Chris's number one pick for Switch, right?
Yeah.
No. Now, look, I will say, when we talked about it on our chat. Yeah, we talked about this on our chat that when they were talking about it, Twitter, the developer said something to the Blizzard developer said something to the effect of, we'd love to see our game on the Switch, and I said it on our private chat, the Life of Gaming chat. I said, if they bring Overwatch to Switch, I will buy it and I will play it with these losers. So
wow.
now it
make it happen.
So Blizzard, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, we're the #1 most listened podcast on the internet.
Fact.
That is fact. Hang on, let me Google that. Let me Google fact check that. Yep, it is fact. I just checked. So Blizzard, if you're listening, if you want to see me,
he binged it.
Yeah. I binged it right out of there. If you'd like to see a grown man cry while playing a video game, please put Overwatch on Switch, and I will buy it. So why don't you guys are actual Switch fans? So why don't you tell me why you'd like to see Overwatch come over?
Josh, would you like to go first, sir?
Yeah, I can go.
All right. Get my thoughts.
What can I say? The problem. I'll start off with the bad first.
Okay.
This game can run on the Switch. Graphically, it's not an overpowered Horizon-like game.
Right.
But the problem comes from the online portion. I don't know if Nintendo has the chops yet to support the type of online greatness you need to play this game. Like, it has to be flawless. Like, every time I'm in a match, I maybe run into a couple problems, like, every few days, maybe. It's just runs so perfectly. So if Nintendo can get their online infrastructure perfect for a title like this, then it would be a game changer, because it could show what the Switch can do. And playing this on the go would just be
incredible. For me, Blizzard holds a really big place in my heart. Like, on the My Xbox and Me podcast that you can listen to on iTunes, one guy called me out. He's like, "You're a Blizzard fanboy," and I'm like, I will hold that as a badge of honor, because I am. I'm a huge Blizzard fanboy, because like they're the reason why like I love games, and like I love the lore and the characters of games. It's because like the characters in the world and the universes they make are unlike any other out there in gaming to me. So Overwatch is another extension of just Blizzard's power of making really awesome characters and building this cool universe. When it comes to Overwatch, the reason why I like it so much, and now my computer's yelling at me, is I told it to be quiet. It's just like, now I make the rules, Joseph, and it's like, what is this? Hell, stop it. But it's the game's special to me, because not just the characters, but like how the developers talk to the community and how they talk things out. And it's one of the only games out there where like there's a new character out, right?
Oh man, I haven't played that yet. I haven't even played it since the new character.
But it's free. There's no DLC I have to pay for.
I think her name is Judy, I think.
Yeah, Judy, Judge Judy. She throws.
Judge Judy is the greatest Overwatch character of all time. It's amazing.
And she has her ultimate is like she demeans the opponent. Get a
the
job.
Band hammer coming down.
But it's like the only game where like new characters, new maps, they come out and you don't have to pay for them.
Yeah,
and like awesome. I miss that.
They support the game so well.
Yeah,
that's why they were my game of the year last year. So to get that on a mobile experience, and I definitely think you can do it. Just the biggest hurdle is the online infrastructure. It's not there yet on the Switch. You see it right now with the global test fire, but that's just normal. It's not like, stupid, Nintendo. It's they're building an infrastructure that they haven't had.
Yeah, they've never done anything like this before.
Yeah, I think that so I'll say this about Overwatch. I give Josh a hard time mostly because it's fun. And I don't specifically like Overwatch mostly only because I'm not a big multiplayer only fan. But I did play the beta when it came out, and I had fun with it. Like, I understand why it's popular. It plays fantastic. And the one thing that I do love is, unlike most multiplayer games, like, there's such a depth, and Joe, you alluded to this, there's such a depth in the characters that they've created, in the world that they've crafted. Like, I dig that. I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
I just, for me, I have number one, I have an issue playing multiplayer games consistently anyways, just because I don't have a big posse that normally plays. And really the only person that I hang out with a lot that even plays is Josh, and he plays on the crap station. So I couldn't even play with him if I wanted to. Now, let's say that James and Josh both
wait. Let me stop you there. You said you might sell your Xbox One to get a PS4.
I did.
I want to point that out there. So, come on, man.
I did say that. Yeah. So I've been watching. They've been starting to drop the teasers for the show the show 17. And I am a huge baseball fan, and so I to be honest with you, it has taken every ounce of my. Let's just be honest. My Switch died, and so while it was charging, I decided to finally play Mass Effect. If the battery life was longer, I probably would have never turned the Xbox on to begin with. Right. I have absolutely no interest in playing it right now. But I do love the show. So yeah, I did say that. I mean, pretty much anything that I want to play on the Xbox, I can play on PlayStation, but except for the show.
I get that 100% because they own the rights to Major League Baseball right now at the moment, right?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of games I want on the Switch, put a baseball game, like a good. What I want is Power Pros. Power Pros Baseball. Did you ever play Power Pro Baseballs on the Wii?
No. I'm thinking of something else right now, but it's
Power Pros are like little chibi, weird looking baseball people, and but it's like a RPG. Like, you can get a girlfriend, and you can like negotiate your contract. You can go if you get tired of like playing and your fatigue is down, you got to go to the movies and wind down. And but it all had licensed players and licensed teams. I'm telling you, look up Power Pros. It was a year. I want to say like 2006 or something like that. But anyway, look up Power Pros. Power Pros Baseball is amazing. They actually still make it in Japan. They just don't bring them over here anymore. But anyway, that's beside the point. I understand Overwatch, and I understand the people that like it. It just never really bit me. However, on the Switch, I could actually see myself consistently playing, and I think that I would have a broader friend base there that I would play with as well. So that if it comes over, now it is on record, podcast number 70. If it comes to Switch, I will buy it and I will play it.
Make this man eat his words.
Trust me, I will.
Okay. All right, other games. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw out here the Capcom Disney Morning Collection or Disney whatever collection. Yes. Listen, Capcom, again, number one podcast. Capcom's obviously listening. Mr. Capcom. It is Mr. Capcom, right? He runs it. Yeah. So Mr. Capcom, listen. These are NES games, okay? I don't know if you know this, but the same company that made the NES, coincidentally, is making the Switch. So what you need to do is take all of those games and take them away from PlayStation and away from Xbox. They don't deserve that greatness. You need to put all your effort into putting them on the Switch because that's where those games belong. But yeah, a game that I really want. I love the old NES Capcom games, and I was super ecstatic when they announced that collection coming out. DuckTales 1 and 2, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. I want that game on the Switch super bad.
Yeah,
agreed.
What else?
I'm going to hit on
any other games?
I was going to say Salt, another indie title that I would love to see is Salt. They have plenty of great indie titles coming, but Salt and Sanctuary. But the news came out today that it's coming to the PS Vita this Tuesday. So next that I will finally bring out my Vita again to play Salt and Sanctuary.
Well, every time you say Vita, I feel like I need to take a shower. This is gross.
Yeah,
This is gross.
The spiritual father to the Switch. You know
I don't
that,
think so. You shut your mouth. You shut your dirty trash mouth.
You have your island. I'll have Switzerland. Is what I call it.
That's right. That's right.
The island is sinking fast.
So
it's on fire.
Yeah.
So it's actually been confirmed that the developers are waiting to see what happens with Switch before they start talking about games or releasing games. What that does for us is that we're probably not, at least for a year, we're probably not going to see a lot of high profile games.
Yeah, day and date with other platforms,
or even just I do not think we'll see high profile games. We may, like EA may go out on a limb, or not EA. Ubisoft may go out on a limb at E3 and announce maybe one big high profile game for the fall. But it isn't like you're going to get get 2 or 3 giant third party titles this year.
You're not going to see Destiny on that. Like there's some games where it's just like you're not seeing The Witcher on it.
Sure.
We talked about Dark Souls, and I need this game to come on Switch. The newest DLC, from what I've heard and read about it, it is a take on Dante's Inferno, and you're actually revisiting all the old cities.
All the Souls games, it's like something like from Inception. It's the world's folding in on itself, and you're like going through the history and lore of all the Dark Souls series, which
that sounds great.
I need that on the Switch.
So what I was getting at is I think that next year will start. I think next E3 is going to be very telling for what's going to happen with Switch. I personally want to see Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2 on this machine. So this is something that I've said for a while now, and I'll go ahead and say it here since we're kind of talking about this. I don't mind sacrificing visual fidelity for the ability to play it on my favorite console of all time. And it's still early in the life to say that, but I already love the Switch. I believe in the Switch enough to know what Nintendo's going to do with it, and so I'm excited about that. But I don't mind. It isn't like I'm going to sit down at my house and I'm going to have Battlefront 2 on my Xbox 360 and then Battlefront 2 on my Switch docked and be like, oh man, these games don't look the same. I mean, that's not the point, right? I'm going to take this with me to work, and on my lunch break, I'm going to jump over to the common area, and if I could play Battlefront, even if it doesn't look quite as good, the particle effects aren't quite as good, the maps aren't maybe quite as big, but I can play the full game on a handheld version. Like, that is enough for me. Like, I'm okay with that.
Just make it up to the quality, because we've had like Borderlands 2 come to the Vita when it shouldn't have been there.
Sure, yeah. So again, I will take. You can have all the P's you want back. You can give me a 720p version. That's fine. Just make sure that you have frame rate and performance is there. Don't worry so much about like all the. But see, they're building games, and this is what encourages me. They're building games this way right now, right? And with Scorpio coming out, they're already kind of doing it with PlayStation Plus, or what is it called? PlayStation Pro. And then with Scorpio coming out, and even on like PC games, all those games have sliders built into it, right? So if you have a machine that's 2, 3, 4 years old, you can just turn all those sliders down. Heck, I had Stardew Valley running on like a 5-year-old laptop that had no integrated, graphics card, and it was horrible. But I mean, you could still do it. Like you had that much control. control. So that's okay. I don't mind that. Like, I know if I play Crackdown 3 on a Scorpio, I know it's going to look better than if I played it on an Xbox One. But that's okay because those are different machines, and I'm okay with that on the Switch. I'm okay with the games, sliding that slider down to the far end so that I can have that on there. So
I think it's going to take the industry, take these publishers to look at the ecosystem and see what we're up to really decide that. Because like while you were talking about Battlefront, I was thinking about like, okay, so what is it going to have to take? You're going to have to cut down on how many people can be in a map, so it'll probably be 16v16. You're going to probably have to do the sliders again, particle effects, all those things. It's not going to look as good, but you're going to have a good, workable experience, and maybe put it down to 600p or something like that on the machine so it works. I could see that, and I would definitely want that. The next game I would like to see on the Switch would be, he said Stardew Valley. I was like, Stardew Valley, but that's coming.
That's coming,
Oh, man.
It's going to be an awesome indie machine.
Yeah, it is. Like, that's where, this is where I want to play my indies. So the one game that comes to mind, actually, would be a huge slap in the face, but I would love to see the Crash series on the Switch. I know they're doing the remaster, and that would look and play excellent on the go.
Yeah. Sure.
And that's what I'm thinking about, running down that path. I'm like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah,
like in the vein of ukulele.
We got Mario, and they've already confirmed that new Sonic Sonic
Mania, and then the Sonic 3D one.
Yeah, what was it called? They just named it.
Forces, right?
Forces, yeah. So so that's coming, and that game looks great. So yeah, I mean, Crash makes perfect sense. It all
comes together.
I would play. Yeah, I would play that in a heartbeat.
And think about this. You make a commercial surrounding it, going, Crash is making and then all you hear, you're like, oh snap!
Oh man,
that's good. Yeah, the marketing's good. And so Sony doesn't really own that anymore. So I mean that's
possibility.
I mean, it's been on Xbox. Crash has been on, and did it come to the? I think there was maybe a Crash game on Wii, maybe, but I know for sure it came to Xbox. Xbox
probably.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, we have that ability for sure. I will say that so there's kind of a trifecta for me of games that I play. First off, I mean, I'll play anything that Nintendo makes. Like, that's without question. I mean, that's the reason that I have the Switch. I like to play adventure type games, but and I like to play RPGs, kind of where I am. But I do like Madden, and so this is where the Switch brings value to me, and we talk about this on the show a little bit because James, Joe, you said that you watched the show. Me and James kind of are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, where James never takes his Switch out of the dock. Like he rarely even takes it with him from what he said, and that's fine. I mean, it's built to do that. I will dock it typically if I'm going to stream or do like a let's play, but outside of that, I play handheld. That's how I prefer to play. And I mean, I will even, I joke around. I even sit here, where I'm at right now, where we're podcasting, I have dual monitors right in front of me. And my dock is plugged up to one of them because that's how I do Let's Plays. But I would still prefer to sit right here in the chair with my headphones in and in my hand. That's just how I like to play. Yeah. So for me, that is the advantage of these games. So while I'll probably still buy Madden 18 for the Xbox One, or if I have a PlayStation 4 at that time, because I still like, when I am playing it on a screen, I like to have, that visual pop. The ability to put it in my bag and take it, and even something as simple as just hitting the sleep button in the middle of a game, hitting of my franchise, hitting the sleep button, dropping it in my bag, going to work, and then picking it up at lunch, playing right where I left off. Like that, to me, that is That is the number one advantage to the system.
And Madden is Furnace is getting all crazy again. It's yelling at me. But Madden, like, all you have to do is take 360 architecture and then just work with it, and that's fine. And like on a little screen, like while you're like on your lunch break, that's perfectly fine.
It's gonna be great.
You know? That's perfectly fine. I don't even like Madden. Oh, now it's getting real upset. It is not a Madden fan, but like it's like, stop talking about
the fires of hell consume you.
I know. I would be good in life, but
that's Hal's cousin Harold.
Yeah.
Like, settle down, Harold, or it's all right.
Oh god. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I think they could bring some of the classics that they're releasing on other systems over, like the BioShock collection. You know, there's talking about Elder Scrolls. They're doing Skyrim for it. So yeah, bring BioShock and heck, I mean the old Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah. I mean, so right now, I mean that's a good. Here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want this because this is what they try to do with Wii U, and the Wii U failed for a number of reasons. But what they tried to do is like, oh, we're going to support the Wii U by giving you all the old games that you've already played. Now, the reason that works with the Switch and didn't work with the Wii U is because the Switch is actually portable. But I mean, you don't want to play Arkham Knight again or Arkham City again in the exact same way that you played it before. However, if they release an Arkham collection on the Switch today, I would buy it
and on the go. All those games
on the go. Like that is the advantage, of the system. So I think that's a good way that they could set the barometer, for like how third-party games will sell on the system. I think it's a good foot in the water, but I do think you have to be careful, going into year number 2 and year number 3. I want to make sure that we're not just getting like scraps, just like leftovers. I do want to see original games. What I think of a lot is GameCube. And GameCube had these great, and it was really in my opinion, really the last time that Nintendo had great home third-party support was on the GameCube. But you got games like Killer 7, and you got games like Beautiful Joe, and you got games like Rogue Leader, and you got games like. There was a bunch. Eternal Sun. No, not Eternal Sun. That's the movie. Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness. So there was a lot. Resident Evil 4 first came out on the GameCube. So Nintendo had this great relationship with third parties where they were bringing new experiences that were catered to that audience. The reason the 3DS and the DS survived and thrived so well is because developers made original games that took advantage of the hardware. And so ports are fine, and there are a handful of games that I really love to play on the Switch, but eventually we have to get to a place where Nintendo is going after third parties and they're bringing original experiences that you can have just on the Switch. And I think that's going to be the thing that's going to start to differentiate them from just being compared always to the PlayStation, because that's what we always hear, right? It's like, oh well, that'll never run because it doesn't have the power of the PlayStation. It doesn't have to. Like, it's fine. Give me the next Assassin's Creed game and give me an offshoot of that game, but on the Switch. If
I could say something. Where the gates of hell takes me, apparently, is I hope it's not too loud. Let me know if it is.
No. It's I can barely hear it, man. You're fine.
Okay, good. I get very paranoid about sound. Like any littlest thing happens. So, no, with the I think the ultimate port for the Switch, for me, and it would be totally going out of Nintendo's comfort zone, is GTA 5. Because it can run on the 360.
Yeah.
And it can run on the PS3.
Uh-huh.
It has a huge user base. And I mean, I would buy it.
Oh,
have it on the go?
Yeah, for sure. And you're right. I mean, it plays on the 360. We know it's not even a conversation. We know that the Switch is more powerful than the Xbox 360, right? That's been like a foregone conclusion. We know that. That's not a guess anymore. We know that it does have similar powers strength, similar graphical capabilities to an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4. Now it's not going to ever hit probably the top of what those systems can do, but it can be comparable. So you're absolutely right. It can play. Here's what I would love, because if you remember back in the day, like GTA, they had a Chinatown Wars was on GBA or DS. It was on something. So I mean they've had relationships. They've had relationships before. What I would love to see is I would love to see them come out at E3 and be like, because just something to the effect of, this fall we're bringing on Nintendo stage or on the Direct, whatever, we're bringing GTA 5 to the Switch, and because that's an old game that we're porting over. And by the way, next year in May, we're also going to have day and date on the Switch Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, Red Dead's never gonna run. It's never gonna run the way that it is gonna run on an Xbox. Oh, I see it right there. It's never gonna run. It's never gonna run like it's gonna run on an Xbox or a PlayStation 4. And I will definitely buy it for my Xbox One, or possibly my Scorpio, or possibly my PS4 Pro at that time. Whatever I have, I will buy it for the high definition experience. But if I get a scaled down version of Red Dead that I can play on the go, I will absolutely buy that game. And so that could be huge for Nintendo, to show that we're not just going after families anymore. Like, this is the end all platform for both home and portable, like together.
Yeah.
And
if I could just say one thing.
Yeah.
Because you got me on Red Dead. I know we got to close out the show, but Red Dead is my favorite. Well, Red Dead and Last of Us, they take turns. Favorite game of all time.
Wow.
I would love to see that game on the Switch. And I mean, it would be. I don't think it could technically do it. To just seeing how Rockstar keeps upping the antes of their games.
Sure.
But I would be buying that game, PS4, Xbox,
2 times. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't matter to me. That's how much I love that game.
Yeah, I mostly just for mind share, it would be amazing for Nintendo to work something like that out with with Rockstar. Yeah, it's never going to be the same game, or even just like what we said, give me a smaller prequel to Red Dead 2 and drop it on the Switch. Or just Red Dead. Just put Red Dead 2. Red Dead 1. 2. Just whatever. All right, we do need to wrap because I want to go play Splatoon. Let's just do this, guys. We talked about some games that we want to see on the Switch. We're all very happy Switch owners. We are in Switzerland right now, and the weather is nice. You guys should all join us. But what games do you guys want to see? Look, we have a comment section down below, and that's what it's there for. If there's a game you'd like to see, we'd love to hear from you. We may actually even mention some on the next show, but just comment below a game that you'd actually like to see, whether it's maybe a new game in a franchise that you love, or just a port that you'd like to see. Go ahead and comment down below, and we'll try to respond to those and maybe pick out a few great ones we can talk about next week. Of course, be sure to like the podcast and the video, or if you're listening on iTunes or whatever, if you guys will go rate us, it does a lot for us. It gives us some visibility so that more people can hear these sweet, sultry tones coming out of my face.
That's part of the show.
So the best part of the show, my sweet sultry tones.
I get to relive my glory days of singing that I wanted when I was in a band.
That's right.
Josh's rock career right now. That's
yes. Let's launch it.
If you love that transition and topic of the week, that happens here every single show. So please come back. If you did not love it, we'll never do it again. Just leave a comment. Let us know. We'll cut it.
Gives us an excuse. Yep.
So listen. Let's do this, Joe. It was great having you, man. We'd love to have you back.
Yes, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your podcast, about your content, where people can find you.
So, guys, if you like my voice, you like this face for some reason, you want to see more of it, please head on over to youtube.com Poly Games, Poly with an I. There we talk about all things video games, no matter if you're playing Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, mobile, the fun games of the water where it's like squishy and it's with the hoops, you're trying to get the hoops in the little thing. Whatever it is, that's fine. You like to watch paint dry? We'll do that eventually. Whatever you want is on there, whether it's news, impressions, reviews, unboxings. It's all there for you. Also co-hosts a podcast called My Xbox and Me. You can check us out there. Me and my beautiful, lovely British pal, Corey, Mr. MC Fixer. And then lastly, God, I do so much, so little time. Poly Games on iTunes as well. And you can get me on Twitter at PolyGamesFTW. There on my podcast, we just talked about the Switch. We talked about my funeral and how we're going to plan it. Eating dogs and how Japan needs an intervention. So
that sounds like a fantastic show. Yeah, you guys need to check that out. And just for the record, in our pre-show conversation, we were talking about what should be our topic of the week, and Joe did actually say paint drying. And I was like, that sounds like a good idea, but maybe you should save that for your show. So, but you guys check them out at Poly Games. There's a lot of good stuff going on over there. So, Joe, again, we thank you for being here. Josh, tell people where they can find you, where they can hear your sweet, sweet voice all the time.
Well, if you want to listen to my 80s hair metal rock band, Josh and the Bandits, you can. I'm at minus the Brant, MINUSTHEBRANT on Twitter. That's my PSN name. Username on the Switch. Yeah, that's it.
You guys can follow James, our fearless leader, on Twitter at Jamester0722. And he's other places. I think he pretty much uses that handle. But if you go to Twitter, you can find him there. Go tell him that you missed him. Or tell him that, I'm a much better looking host than him. Either one of those two things are okay. I do prefer you tell him that I'm more handsome than he is, but that's up to you. You can follow me on Twitter at NeoLego, and anything that I do, you can find there. This is the Life of Gaming podcast, episode number 70. We're glad that you tuned in. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions for the show or just want to leave us some feedback, do it in the comments below, and we will see you again next week. So for Josh and for James and for Joe, there's a lot of J's. I don't even change my name. I'll change my name to Driss. Oh, Justin. Driss wasn't a real name. So for Josh and James and Joe
don't add
Driss.
Z's at the end of that, please.
I like how Driss.
Driss.
All right, we're leaving. Bye.
We're drizzing away.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed this content from the Life of Gaming. If you like what you saw, be sure to subscribe down below. You can also catch our weekly podcast every Sunday on iTunes, SoundCloud, and the Google Play Store. You can find us on Twitter at Life of Gaming Pod and on Facebook. Until next time, we are out.